Okay, today I'm gonna do the switchboard upgrading in Toramara. There are some points that I'd like to share with you regarding to what needs to be done and why this customer decided based on my recommendation to do the switchboard upgrading, and which I will explain later. As you see, that's a single phase switchboard. They have 7 to 8 power circuit, subboard, workshop, main switch, and the rest is light and hot water. One of the reasons actually I recommend the customer to upgrade the switchboard, apart from not complying with Australian standard, is that this board is upgraded long time ago, and that's why they have the shared residual current device, or known as RCD or safety switch. And as it follows the old Australian standards, it's just protecting the power circuit only. As you see, you have yellow label for this one, and also this one, which is a power. Whatever it says is light or something else, it's not protected because it wasn't mandatory back in time to have a safety switch or RCD for the light circuits. That's one of the issue of the upgrade that needs to be upgraded. The second one is that we are using shared residual current device, or RCD or safety switch, and that caused a lot of problem. Why? Back in time, shared device was okay. Sharing the RCD for the entire, more than 1, 2, or 3 circuit was alright, because RCD was pretty much expensive. And not only that, it was a minimum requirement, and everyone was going for that one because they had they had to less manipulate or alternate the wiring inside the switchboard to make it happen. It was a quick fix and meet Australian standards, but that's not the case anymore. There are some drawbacks for having the shared safety switch for the panels like that. One of them is that because this one is shared between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different circuits. Actually, that one is also connected, but anyway, if there is a fault in any of those circuits, for example, we assume this circuit has a fault in it, that caused this one to trip. When that trip, all the circuits supplied via the shared one is going to be de-energized. So it's very inconvenient, very, very inconvenient, obviously. And imagine you have a faulty appliances in the kitchen or faulty wiring in part of a bedroom or whatever, and you lose all the power simply because one section of the house or one appliance is faulty. That's the first one. Secondly is that when it comes to the fault finding, it's make it actually extra difficult, especially if it's a faulty wiring, because if it's appliances, it's a little bit easier. I mean, it's more manageable comparing to when fault is inside the wall or is for wiring, simply because when the wire is inside the wall is faulty for the same reason that there is a fault somewhere in one of those circuits, the main RCD is gonna trip. So it's very hard to actually test it, which area is affected. And when I say it's very hard, it doesn't mean it's impossible. No, it is not. But when you have dedicated circuit and dedicated RCD for every circuit, it's actually indication of where we have to look for a fault, and it narrow it down quickly and easy to find out which area of the house is affected. Not only that, when there is a fault in that section is going to be only de-energized and not functional, but the rest of the house will be work fine and without any situation. So that's the main reason. That's the two main reason of not having the shared RCD. Plus the same is for light as well, because light also has to be protected with the RCD as per new regulation, which has been in functional and mandatory since about 7-10 years ago. The other things in this switchboard, which is quite funny, as you see, there is a granny flat at the back, and that there is a switchboard. There's a small subboard over there and that subboard is supplied by here. And for some reason which is not clear for me is that that subboard is also connected and energized via the RCD. Even though there is a RCD and in that subboard over there, whenever fault or anything happened over there, whenever I was doing the wiring, the main RCD in here was tripping, which caused the whole house get affected. Which, yeah, it's, I don't know whoever has done it, what was the logic or whatever, but absolutely inconvenient. It's very annoying. And yeah, if you have something like similar to this board or something, you need to consider upgrading your switchboard for sure. It's convenient, it's safer. And the last but not the least is that when you are dealing with the shared RCD, because the threshold for a tripping for every RCD in order to protect the whole circuit is 30 milliamp. That means if there is a leakage of as big as 30 milliamp or more, that's gonna trip. So imagine we are using this one as a shared for more than 4 or 5 circuits, or actually more than 1 circuit. That means even if there is a very slight leakage in any of these circuits, as low as small as 5 milliamp, because they are gonna be added on top of each other, it's gonna trip the circuit. So something which is actually negligible and is still okay to live with it can be a bigger problem when it's a shared circuit. Imagine 5 milliamp on this one fault, which is negligible, 5 on that one, 5 on that one, 5 on that one, another 5 on that one, and this one. You already reached the 30 milliamp limit, and that's gonna trip that one. But when you have dedicated one, if that 5 milliamp earth leakage on that one, not gonna trip the circuit, and it's still gonna be energized. So with the shared RCD, every small problem is become a bigger problem, and it's gonna be more annoying. So yeah, you better consider upgrading your switchboard if you are dealing with shared RCD or shared safety switch, for all those reasons, plus for your own safety. Not only that, is actually compulsory by Australian standard, and it has to be met for sure. I hope has covered enough information. If you have any question or something, feel free to ask me or comment or something, and I'm trying to actually get back to you with a better result or actual response, and I hope that's gonna help you to understand what's happening in your switchboard and your house.